Okay, thank you all for coming. Welcome here. We are going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, like I said, thank you all for coming to this March meeting of TMAC. We're going to start off with a roll call of officers.
President Steve Beatty.
Here.
Vice President Steve Sykes. Here. Secretary Pam Beatty here. Treasurer Amy. All officers are present.
A roll call of the chairs.
Okay, Bingo. Who's representing Bingo?
Leanne Mills.
Computer Club.
Here.
Country Breakfast.
Here.
Dance.
Here.
Dance.
Here.
Decorating. Diversions.
Here.
Genealogy.
Here.
Glass Shop. Library. Model Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Monday Coffee. The Tonk. Potluck. Shuffleboard. Special events. Special meals. Table games.
Here.
Tanglewood Dog.
Here.
Tech support.
Present.
Tennis.
Here.
Trips and travel. TWR Times. Welcome.
Here.
Woodshop.
Here.
All 24 committees are present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'm going to make a general announcement for everybody, but especially the new ones. When you are speaking of anything other than just here, pick up one of the microphones close to you so we can record this. It gets posted on TWR Times. Okay, moving forward, need a motion for approval of the minutes. You all get sent the minutes?
Make a motion. Minutes be approved.
John and Gary, all in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Treasury report by Amy Mills was sent out. Any objections, questions on that? If not, I need a motion to accept that.
Treasurer's report.
Model yacht? Got a second?
Second.
John? All in favor of accepting the treasury report?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I don't believe that we have any HTA representative here. Angie had something else to do. Going forward, got my report, which Gary, I'll go to Gary Braun. Are the audits going all right? You got done with the audits? How you doing?
We completed the audits on Monday, and I'll be putting that together and sending all the documents out to each of the chairs. So the chair, please send that to your treasurer. After the meetings went well, I guess we discussed the need to get a different accounting package for Amy. The one we have right now is charging us monthly, and it's kind of overkill for the size of the organization that we have. And we're looking for something that can probably handle a better chart of accounts. And we'll take a look, the committee will take a look at expanding that chart of accounts and then porting that into the new system for this year. So as that becomes available, we'll either have a meeting or send something out to all the committee chairs to, when that's been documented and ready to go. Everything went well. We had a lot of new people, but I think they seem to understand what we're doing, and hopefully we'll be having a good budget. So,
Thank you, and thank you to the Finance Committee. They spent a lot of hours doing all the audits. I said it on a few, but not all of them. But thank you all. I will be making a present. I'm sure everybody knows I'm planning on making a presentation today, and I will do that at new business, not right now. And just so, go ahead and tell you now that I don't plan on bringing anything to a vote today. I'll do the presentation, and hopefully we'll get a motion second. Then we can have discussion, but then we're going to table it till next month. So you have a chance to get back to your own committees. You have a chance to talk it over. Any other questions, and then we'll be moving forward with that next month. Steve, you have anything?
The Monday morning coffee host thing has started off very well, in my estimation. We're got people signed up through, I think, the second week in May, I'm sorry. Anybody that's interested, please come forward to me and get your name on the list. It's a very simple job, and so far 2 out of 3 of the ladies have told a joke and keep everybody in stitches. So, thank you.
Okay, go on to committee reports. We'll start with John.
John Lemick with the Tech Committee. Today was our work day. We repaired a few minor problems that we've had. We ran a class on follow spot, which was well received by 2 to 3 people that were in it. We're coming down to the end of the season, and we've had so far a very good season, and we're continue to upgrade our lighting, and the movers that we've just put in seem to be working well. And I would like to remind all committee chairmen, work requests for the Tech Committee must be into Anne Marie by the 19th of the month prior to the event. Otherwise, you're putting the Tech Committee in a very bad part. We all have lives to live besides the Tech Committee. Our wives don't think so sometimes. However, we all have lives to live. So we would appreciate your request being in by the 19th of the month prior to your event. Thank you.
I'll clarify this. Your reports can be very short. If you emailed a report to the secretary prior to this, you can just say you emailed your report in. By the look on your face, I'm guessing you're brand new. For those of you who don't know, Teresa is stepping down as chair of bingo, and Leanne is stepping in tonight.
And this is all new to me, so I have no clue what I'm doing.
So, and that goes for everybody. Reports don't have to be long. They don't have to be detailed. If you email in a report to the secretary prior to this, then you can just say, I sent my report by email, and it will be in the TWR Times for anybody to see.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I didn't send anything, but it's all going great. And I'm trying really hard to do this.
Nola Bernstein, usually you hear me say special meals, but I have stepped down as special meals. I am now special events chairman. We had our our comedy show on Sunday. We had over 400 people here. It went great. I think everybody had a good time. I know I had a good time, even though it's my first time getting up and introducing the acts and everything. Our next show is the Beach Boys, a week from Sunday. That's the 29th, I think, of March. That is our last show for the season. We will pick back up in November, and our schedule will be out. Our tickets are printed. We just haven't been able to pick them up yet, but we are selling tickets for next year's show, so hope to see y'all there.
I'm going to break in again here. For those who didn't know, Steve Zapato did step down as chair of special events, and Nola as vice moved up. And I assume you had an election for your vice?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We had election right
And-
before the show, and Carlene Fletcher was elected. I stopped there. Carlene Fletcher was nominated as accepted for vice chair.
Okay, because of that, Nola was chair of special
Meals.
meals. She had to step down, and vice chair stepped up to chairmanship there. Sorry, I do not know your name.
Hi, my name's Arlene Calmetto, and I am the chairperson for Special Meals. And on Tuesday, the 17th of 2026, Special Meals had their March St. Patrick's meal. It'll be the last one for until next November. And I believe an email was sent in. Okay. Thank you.
Gail Woolley for decorating. We decorated tables for potluck and for the special meals last night. Thank you.
Wendell Crouch for potluck. I'm the secretary treasurer, and we did send in a report, but Cliff Notes version, we had the potluck on March 10th, 75 people, had $165 for 50-50 and $82 to the winner. I would like to thank the interior decorating committee. They did a really super job on the table decorations.
Mary Hohensee for Trips and Travel. As of March 1st, we rolled out the trips for the 2026-27 season. Some of them are already over 50% booked. So it's going well. I need to interrupt for a second. When you say your name, please tell me what your position is, if you're chair,
Treasurer.
vice chair, or
Treasurer.
whether. Okay, thanks.
Pat Parks with Shuffleboard, the chair. March is a busy month for Shuffleboard. We had a tournament on the 4th, the 6th, the 13th. We will have one on the 28th and the 29th. And I did send a report.
Jennifer Burris, Chair for the Welcome Committee. Our next dinner out is at the Olympic, March 24th at 5 p.m. The garage sale, our profit for the garage sale was $496.02. We're considering some potential other fundraisers, and we're starting to work on new resident packages. We're looking for flyers and business cards from all committees and service providers. And we're trying to create a new door hanger to hang on new people's doors to try to create an interest so they'll let us come visit. And I did send a report. Thank you.
Jerry Bentley, chairman for tennis. We are still playing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If the weather cooperates, it either has been raining or it's freezing cold. This morning we would not get out and play at 44 degrees. All residents are invited. I have sent my email into the secretary, so I guess I have nothing else to say. Thank you.
Shirley Cabot, Chair of TWR Times. We are still running our missing medallion contest. Find the clues in the TWR Times, look for the medallion, and win money. We provided prizes for the golf cart poker and the blind draw, and ran a word game for Resident Appreciation Day with over 15 participants. That's it.
Irene, you want to do it?
Irene Sykes for Monday Morning Coffee. I believe Polly sent in a report. All she has on here is that she's currently buying 18 dozen donuts, and what's left over is going to bingo. She's getting ready to cut that back. And also, she wanted me to please remind everybody that she is definitely stepping down as chair next year. Thank you.
Robin Meyer, chair for dance. Attendance at our March dance didn't quite make enough to cover the band. We have a fundraiser this Saturday, which should hopefully help cover that. And our April dance is going to have a hoedown theme, so hopefully that'll be fun.
Pat Phillips for Diversions. We've had several activities that are winding up or being undergoing. What's the matter with me? Blind draw went really well. Had a good turnout, and it seems people had a lot of fun. Beanbag baseball. Don't forget, next Wednesday night, the North and the South will be playing in the World Series of beanbag baseball. So we hope to have a good cheering crowd there for those guys. And blind draw poker is happening next week. We expect a good attendance. I think there's like 147 people signed up already for that, plus the houses. I think it's 20 houses are on the detail. 25. So you'll be driving around in your golf cart and drawing a card at each of the 5 hostess places, and then you come back here for a party. And I think there will be a trivia event over the summer, probably in July. Thank you.
Mary Cousins, Chair of the Library. I've sent my report in, but I do want to add, if anybody, any chairperson in any committee wants to send me a recommendation of an author, because next week we're going to meet and the officers are going to meet and pick some new books. So if anybody has somebody they want to read or has a recommendation, you can just send it to me. Email, text, whatever you want. Thank you.
Gary Braun for Chair for Petanque. On March 7th, we had a tournament, a monthly tournament, and we had 48 players. During intermission, we served hot dogs, chips, and water. We always put pictures out in Nextdoor, in Facebook, in TWR Times. So if you want to take a look at who the winners were, you could do that. We also do the 50-50. And if you've not tried Petanque, give it a try. We've got new people coming all the time. We have equipment down at the courts as well. Our next tournament will be April the 4th. And it's hard to believe, but the weather outside, it's almost the end of the season. So we're having our party on Saturday, kind of an end of the season party to wrap things up. And we do a bunch of games and give out prizes and things like that and serve a meal. Our winter schedule, we play daily Monday through Saturday at 1 o'clock, and on Mondays and Thursdays at 10 o'clock are 2 different groups, and new players are welcome to attend at 12:45. We do a little clinic to teach you how to play.
Barb Boxer, Chairman of Table Games. Don't have a lot to say because it's all cards and games. The attendance has been good. We've had some good games lately. We expect it to go down, obviously, once the snowbirds leave, so we expect that to decrease a lot. But so far the turnout's been really well. And it's really not much to say outside of everybody's welcome. I know they were starting early before, and we no longer do that. So if the time says 6:30, we're going to start at 6:30, and everybody is welcome and will never be turned away.
Mike Gray, Chair, Model Yacht Club. Our last race for this season was held March 5th. That's a sailboat race. Okay, and all we had 319 races were completed. Myself, our current treasurer, and our past treasurer went over to the TMAC audit this month and actually went a lot better than we thought. They make it easy for you. Thank you. Okay, our top 3 winners in each fleet, 12 in all, they all received nice gifts from the HTA award ceremony. Our next meeting, award ceremony for ourselves, will be held Monday, March 23rd. And just so you know, most days during the summer, you can find someone sailing at the regatta pond between 10 and 11 during the day, and you're all welcome to come down. We'll hand you the controller and teach you how to sail.
Andrea Siebert, Chair of Glass Shop. We've been finishing up some classes. We have a mosaic class that finished last week. We have a stained glass advanced class that is going on in the month of March. And it's in the evening, which is a new time slot for us, but we have a good interest in that time slot. Beginning Fused class will be offered for April on Wednesday afternoons. We're also having a workshop in end of this month, March. In preparation for the craft fair, we're going to start trying to get our items early and not wait till the last minute. We'll also have a new fundraiser, which is going well. And our last meeting of the season will be next Tuesday, and we will restart again with our regular meetings in October.
Mary Ann Jones, Chair of the Genealogy Club. We held our monthly meeting in the community room at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 4th. Our presentation was on how to use GEDmatch with our DNA test results. One of our members who is adopted did a presentation on how she found her biological parents, and she brought her family history documents to share with us. We had our end of the season luncheon at the Caddy Shack after our meeting. Our next meeting is Wednesday, April 1st, and after our business meeting, we will be reviewing the antiques and heirlooms collection at a residence home here in Tanglewood. April 1st will be our last meeting for the season. We will resume again in November. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Lorian with the Computer Club. We had our meeting on the 13th of March at 2 o'clock, so it's the second Friday of every month is our meeting, if anyone's interested. We had a good turnout because we were discussing AI, loading AI on individuals' computers, and kind of going over the simple tasks and projects that AI can actually do for us. Much easier to use than you realize. Don't let it scare you. We also talked about changes to the way we are going to be handling the club in the future. We plan to, our regular monthly meetings are changing to training sessions where we will go over issues in emerging technology and its use and how people in the community can benefit from it. We are going to move our general business to before or after our open session meeting. That's it.
Sandra, Chairman, Dog Club. Our meeting went well this time. We talked about upcoming events that we want to have. We're having a speaker next month in April. We'll have a sheet so that everybody can go if you want to. It's the Heartland Dog Club. I think her name is Colleen. She's going to be talking about responsible dog ownership. We're planning to host one of the coffees this summer, and we're also having our annual, we're still talking about our annual Halloween dog costume contest. And please, if you have a pet, buy a costume. Get one that matches your dog's costume. Come and enter. I don't want to be the one that wins again this year. I want somebody else to put some thought into it. We had a great time at the garage sale. We made $333. We sold a lot of cookies. Our co-chairman made hot cinnamon buns. Everybody loved those. The dog cookies went fast. We had a lot of people contribute things for us, donate things for us to sell, so we did well. And we're planning to be here again for the November dogs garage sale.
Steve Sykes, Country Breakfast Chairman. We did 142 meals in February, and we have one coming up this coming Saturday, which is corned beef hash. And if I call it wrong, it's because my wife doesn't tell me right. We're always looking forward to people coming and helping. We have opening spots because, in all honesty, we're all getting older, and 5 o'clock on Saturday morning comes awful early.
Thank you. Steve Beatty, Chairman of the Wood Shop. Shop's going very, very well this year. We've had a lot of volunteers step up, painted the shop, had people that are over coming every Saturday to clean. We did lose one of the motors of one of our dust collectors that we thought was going to be a larger expense, but we found a place that could rebuild it. So we got away with $900. So that will be back in service. Other than that, the wood shop's going fine. Thank you all for your reports. And going forward, just so everybody knows, you can email your reports to the TMAC secretary, and you don't have to give an oral report, but everybody's welcome to give an oral report. You don't have to send your written report, but you're welcome to send it. If you send it in, then that will be printed in the TWR Times. If you don't, there will be a note said, hey, they gave a report. You can watch it on the screen. So that being done, go forward with old business. I believe Pam has something.
Okay, couple things. I've been working on finding out who started the campaign for us to give money from the Coke machine. Florida Fresh is the vendor now. It's been traded over several times. And I did talk with someone even this morning named Julian, and they're having a meeting on Friday. No one can find the original contract, so they're going to come up with another one. They're anxious to continue with us, and they gave me a list, which I will put out, of beverages that they will offer, of things that we might want to have put into this Coke machine. So if we have things in there that we like, then we will use them more often. They said our total amount for last year was only $200, so very few people were using it. But I explained it was seasonal, and the fact that no one knew who was getting the money, so we kind of slowed down on that. They're anxious to continue working with us, and I should have a better report next week or next month on what they're going to do and what products they are. So I'll put this out there, and like you guys can just kind of sign up, check what you like, and I'll give them a list of that when I talk with them again. The other thing, as far as your reports, you guys are doing great with that. If you don't want to send in a report, like you said, we'll just put verbal on there. I try to get those in. Once we have approved the February minutes, then I will now put in February's report. It has to be a month behind, so we've got approval of all that, and I'll put that in TWR Times, so people will be able to read last month's things. So it'll be a month behind, but have to do that. And I think that's it for now. Thanks. Oh, there is one more thing. Sorry. With all the changes that we've made recently, I will be coming up with a new list of board members, chairman, vice chair, and all that. You'll get that out in the next week or so of the new list.
Anybody have other old business? I was afraid of that because now I'm up. Now we're going to move on to new business. That's where I'm going to give you talk to your presentation. We go ahead and start the slideshow, Gary. I move around a lot, so I got too nervous to sit down, I guess. Okay, as you know, the problem we've had, TMAC is not sustainable. We're just not bringing enough money to continue to pay our bills in TMAC, and I have an idea. All these are my ideas, so going forward, there's no done deal. This is not being rammed down anybody's throat. But I believe that TMAC needs to be self-sustaining and not have to rely on fundraisers or other means to come up with to pay their bills. So that going forward, some of the through this presentation, I'll be talking about things that have happened, things that will happen. And just as a matter of Robert's rules, the way my plan for this to work is I'm going to give this presentation. Hopefully somebody will make a motion to accept it. Somebody will second it. Then we'll have a discussion. But you have to have the motion and second before you can have a discussion. Then I will table it. No vote today. You can take it back to your committees. You can show them. You can talk to them. All the committees are going to get a copy of this presentation, so if you can't read something or you miss something, you're going to have it in your hand. You can look at it. At the end is an appendix that has references to all the information I'm going to be talking about here, so you can look up your own. There's information on 501c7s, tax laws, and just different things that are all going to be in the appendix but you will all have a copy of that. On top of that, once I get through this and you take it back to your committee, any committee that wants me to come and talk to you again about it, I'll give the presentation for your committee. I'll come and talk to it, answer questions. that's all fine. You'll have a whole month before we come back next month to decide what's going on. Again, these are my ideas, and if you like the idea overall, but hey, you want this change or that change, that's all doable. I keep trying to impress, TMAC is not this overseeing entity. I'm not TMAC. We are TMAC. All these decisions we made by you and for you. Okay, moving on. The vision. Sorry, what was that? Okay, I'll even do that. So this is the vision in 1998 to provide a structured 501c7, provide an umbrella of insurance, generate government filings, provide legal and administrative support, provide required accounting, provide required banking, provide required record keeping. That was the vision. Go back to the problem, Gary. Back one slide. This was the problem. The cost of administration. Oh, wow. Good job, Gary. Is that Keith pushing buttons? There we go. The problem is the cost of administration requirements that burden many social activities, the infrastructure that is needed to support the varied interests of the residents, and fewer social activities will be able to survive the long term. That's the problem. And I've already read you the vision is to provide all of these issues. Go up to how the vision would work. One more. There you go. Hang on. Give me a minute here. Okay, back on track here. The vision is that residents of Tanglewood are members of the activity committee. They were a 501c7. The activities committee board consists of chairpersons and the individuals, which is all you. The individual social activities, which we call committees, would supply a portion of their funds to support the cost of TMAC. The Activities Committee would accrue funds to be dispersed as needed for the common good, again, all decided by you guys. Next one. See, John Graytech put all this together. Many of you know the name, some may not, but he's the guy that built Tanglewood. Before this, he built Buttonwood Bay, and he's involved in other projects. But he had quite a vision, and he put this together. For 25 years, it worked pretty well. But over that time, different things happened, and for different reasons, things changed. For one thing, every committee, the way we used to work, every committee at the end of the year, all of your leftover funds would be rolled into TMAC general fund. Then you get all $200 to start your new year, and that's the way it would be. Well, there was exceptions made. I think special events was one, because they had to pay for next year's events, so they needed this money. So it came time, every committee, many committees anyway, Woodshop being one of them, would apply for, and we got exemptions. So we didn't lose our money at the end of the year. It was rolled in. Because Woodshop, we had equipment to maintain. We needed this fund, and Dance had bands to hire. For whatever reason, several committees applied for and got exemptions, which meant less money going into TMAC. Next slide, please. Go back to the new generation. There you go. So a few years ago, because of these things had already started to fail, TMAC rewrote the rules. We did our bylaws, had a bylaws committee, we did all these things. Well, it got down to the end of the year and ran out of time. We never got to putting TMAC back in our budget. So we've been running the last few years with no way to finance TMAC. But we changed these rules because the old system wasn't working. We were going to have a new system, and it never got to be. Next slide, please. This is the cost. This is what we spent last year for TMAC. I know it's hard to read in the back, but bottom line is accounting services cost about $2,500. Insurances cost almost $2,000. Licensing and fees, $200. Total supplies and expenses for TMAC just to pay the bills last year was almost $5,000. And while TMAC did receive some donations from various committees, we had the fundraiser that we made up our money last year. There was no money allocated to TMAC. Nothing. Nothing went for paying the bills that we didn't, our fundraiser or a few donations. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the scary one. The heading there, this is the cost when TMAC goes bankrupt. At the current rate, that'll be 2 years. When TMAC goes bankrupt, the need for these events doesn't change, but it won't be covered by TMAC. It shows the cost for individual committees to keep exactly what you have now. If you want to file, you have to file your own 501c. You have to have your own insurance. You have to have all your other government filings. All of these for each individual committee costs anywhere from $750 to close to $5,000 the first year, $1,000 to $4,000 every year after that. For all 24 committees, that total price would be almost $42,000 to $114,000 first year, $24,000 to $96,000 every year after that. Now, I understand that wouldn't happen. What would happen is you'll have 3 or 4 committees that survive. 3 or 4 committees that will continue to pay their own bills, get their own 501cs, run under insurance. The rest of the committees, while they still may do what they've always done, would not be covered by insurance, would not be able to hold a 50-50 legally. Those are the things that happen when you drop out of TMAC. If TMAC covers now, that's what it would cost you to do the same thing on your own. Next slide, please. And this is the big picture. No funds allocated to TMAC for paying the bills and providing services. Our combined bank balance is $218,000. Combined income for the year was $335,000. That's what flowed through TMAC. At the end of the year, we've got $18,000 in the bank, but nothing for TMAC. Next, please. It says here recommended by the officers. Teamwork. This is a better way to go. Teamwork. Recommended by the officers is kind of pretentious. It's me. This is what I recommend. These are my ideas. And I hope I can convince you to be your ideas. But each committee says 2% there. My idea was 3%. And through some talking, we made it 2%. But 2% of your funds right off the top, every time you give Amy money on Thursday, 2% of that goes to TMAC. For the purpose of paying the bills. Said each committee would give this. TMAC will use these funds for the purpose of paying the bills at the year's closed. Unused funds will be directed to an accrual account. The allocation of the accrued funds will be controlled by you. You can decide how best to use those accrued funds. Now, my vision, as I said, I started with 3%, and we're at 2% there. But at 3% on last year's numbers, $10,000 would have gone into TMAC. That would have paid our bills and would give us a chunk of money for stuff. And what is stuff? Another thing that used to happen at the start of every year, committees got $200 to start their year. So library doesn't have to rely on fundraisers to get going. You know, shuffleboard doesn't. Table games, if you need new cards, you've got money to start your year. That doesn't happen now. A few years ago, we upgraded the video system. Hometown America put in, I think, $29,000 of projectors and screens. The tech booth wanted to upgrade our system, our cameras and our video board, video mixer, so that we can make use of these new toys. Well, we came to TMAC at the time to make a presentation, thinking, yeah, we'll take that under advisement. Well, TMAC said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. They voted, hey, give them that money. They could do that because TMAC had money. You couldn't do that now. One of the needs that I keep hearing we have is new stoves in the kitchen. And while people say, well, that should be Hometown America, well, maybe it should. But if you need new stoves now, Hometown America has said they're not going to replace them until they're broke. And working some, they won't replace them. So if we want new stuff now, then maybe we need to kick a little in. Maybe Hometown America would be more apt to give us money if we say, look, we'll pay for half this. Will you kick in? I don't know that. Going forward, I know you may have other ideas. Maybe we want a common greeting area out in the circle. I don't know. But these are things that could be done if TMAC had money in their account. If TMAC had this money, that you would decide how it was dispersed. And that's all up to you. I say I initially put 3% in there, and now we had 2%. 2% would have brought in, on last year's numbers, would have brought in about $6,700. So yes, that will pay our bills and give us a little bit of a cushion. And if that's what you decide to do, great. You're not going to hurt my feelings here either way. I'm going to go on and be happy with it. I'm being handed notes. So my idea is for every committee, and we'll go with this 2%. Every time you turn in money, 2% of that goes to TMAC's general fund. My proposal is that we start this in September. So when the new season starts and the wood shop starts taking dues, 2% of that goes to TMAC. Every committee will be responsible for deciding how you want to do that. The wood shop, we haven't raised dues in a few years, so maybe we'll raise our dues. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just decide to eat the 2%. Our dues are $25, so 75 cents goes to TMAC. I think we could afford that. But we're also planning on, all our equipment is 20 years old plus, so we're starting to have to replace things. Like I said, the blower on the dust collector just went out. It's over $4,000 for a new one. So we've got to start planning on our needs. So maybe the wood shop raises their dues to $30, which is a $5 raise. So all of a sudden now our TMAC, our TOE, TMAC operating expense, our fund there is now it's 90 cents. But we're also getting $4.10 more per member. Yeah, it's just, and we haven't talked about this, just not my ideas. Each committee will have to decide how you accrue those funds. If you need to raise your prices, raise your prices. If you've got the money and say, don't worry about it, we're just going to absorb that, then great, do that. But again, it's all up to you. Yeah, I've preached a lot about the way we look at TMAC, and I tell you how it used to work when they started when people would start getting exceptions so they didn't have to give up their money to TMAC. Or they would, at the end of the year, they'd go on a spending spree and they'd spend everything in their account so they didn't have to give money to TMAC. They're looking at TMAC like this other person. TMAC is you. You're paying this money to yourself. You're taking it out of this pocket and putting it over here in this pocket so you can pay your bills at the end of the year. You know, there's nobody running away with the TMAC money. TMAC is you. You decide how much you put in it. You decide how it's spent. You decide when it's spent. But you can have your bills paid without having to have a fundraiser. And I understand fundraisers are all good, but I'm tired of every time I turn around somebody wanting to have a fundraiser. That's just me. Okay, end of my presentation. I'd love to have a motion so we can discuss it. Robin, second it? Okay, motion's been made. You say 2 or 3? 2? Okay, motion has been made to accept this proposal at 2% and seconded. So now, discussion. Who has questions? Jump on it.
Okay, the 2% comes off of our gross income, not net profit.
Correct. Every time you hand Amy money to turn into TMAC, 2% of that goes into TMAC. So I need a clarification here. She says 2% of all the money you turn in is not the same as your gross. I was told it was. I'm not a finance guy. Okay. As I was told, she's saying that if you bring money in but you're spending on this, then you only turn in what you have left. As it's been explained to me, that's illegal. Oh, stop. Okay. There'll be plenty of time for your comments in just a minute. Let me get through these. Maybe your question will be answered. Because everything that you make needs to be turned into TMAC. If not NOLA now, you're not on special meals anymore. But if you bring in, I'll go with Steve. He's right here. If he brings in X number of dollars for country breakfast, and he goes out and buys groceries, and then just turns in what's left, then he's skimmed that money off without going through our books. All the money you bring in needs to go through the books. Not that he can't bring in money, go buy his groceries, and then turn the money left over and his receipts in and say, hey, look, I made all this money. But all the money you take in needs to go through TMAC. I'm not a finance guy, but I've spoken with several who tell me what the laws are. And as a 501c7, everything we bring in needs to funnel through TMAC. That includes 50/50s. That includes any raffles that you have. That include all of this needs to funnel through TMAC. That explain it? Okay.
Steve?
Sure.
Gary Braun here. I don't want to burden Amy or any future treasurer with having to take 2% or 3% out of every deposit. it'd be better to, the end of the year, for instance, you said we would kick this in September. If we wait till January, see the final January reports, we can then calculate how much was deposited and then take our 2%, 3%, whatever it is, off of that, which will go into the next fiscal year then for funding. But to try to put that burden on the treasurer that everything has to happen as a deposit, that's an awful lot of unnecessary work.
Okay, I'm the last one that wants to burden Amy. And I hear what you're saying, but as I've said, I'm not the finance guy. If there's a better way to handle the business part of it, I'm okay with it. But the idea that you're still it's 2%, whether you're skimming every time or at the end of the year, it's 2% of everything.
Correct. I'm just saying, yeah, do a one-time rather than, I mean, trips and travel make deposits probably 1,000 times during the year. There's no sense in trying to calculate it 1,000 times, wait to the end of the year. Because I think we'll have enough money to fund us through the end of the year.
Correct.
So then we can take, this could, you know, we collect the money in, let's say, January 31, when the books close. We'll have the money then deposited for the 26-27 year.
You're correct. And how we do the book part of it, I'll leave to somebody else. I'm just saying, every committee, woodshop, we need to plan now how we're going to handle that 2%, so we don't get to the end of the year and say, oh, shoot, we owe this much, and we don't have that check to write. So I just want everybody to know up front what you're doing, what you're selling, what you're bringing in, and that will be.
Steve, NOLA, special events.
Yes, ma'am.
Do all of these committees bring in money, either by dues or donations or anything? But what do we do about those that don't have any funding at all?
Well, and they will pay their 2% just like everybody else, and 2% of nothing will be nothing. I don't know exactly what all the committees bring in. There probably are some that don't bring anything in. And whether it's popular or not, this concept, when John Graytech brought it forward, he was building a community, and we are a community. And if we need to pay for committees that don't bring in much or don't bring in anything, but they offer a service to our community, that's as it should be. I understand you provide shows and you provide a service, everybody comes, they throw money. Card games, maybe not so much. People come and they play, they enjoy it. Barb, how many people you have every week? Barb. About how many people do you have playing games every week? Okay, so 50 or 60 for each game. She plays more than one game a week. So that's your community. It is something that everybody enjoys. And maybe you're not a part of that, but there's a lot of people that are. I feel that the ones that are flush, the ones that do bring money through, that ought to be part of our dues for community.
I just feel that special events and trips and travels, we have to have our money a year in advance to book these shows, because we cannot wait till the day of the show and say, oh, we have to hope there's enough money coming in that door to cover the bands, because our bands are going up. We pay anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 for our shows now. So we have to have the money a year in advance so we know we can pay. Like, we've already got our shows for next year booked, and we've got the money put back, and we have a little bit to spare, but we've got to start now working on the next year, the 27, 28 shows. Make sure we have the money to cover these bands that are coming in.
Understand. That's why I don't want to implement this till September, and I envision a staggered entry fee, because you've already got your next shows booked and advertised. Trips and travel is already paid for their next year. So,
but we need the outside advertisers inside to cover our bands. We're not making enough, and I know you're going to say raise your prices. Everybody says raise the prices, but that's what we're trying to keep from doing, so people will come to our shows and not go somewhere else when they get the same show for what we're charging them here.
understandable. But like anywhere else, you need to be able to pay your bills. Okay? But everywhere else, you're going to have to, if you didn't have TMAC, you'd still have to pay these your 501Cs and your taxes, and all these other bills would then fall on you directly. So yes, you may have to raise your prices. I don't know. I don't exactly know what your numbers are. You guys have to figure that out. We're not asking anybody to take, hey, look at your bank account. Oh, you've got this much in the bank. We write you a check for that. That's not what we're asking. Plan for the future. What do you have to do to make these adjustments to be able to pay TMAC's bills?
Steve, can I
Yes.
say something for a minute? Years ago, table games didn't have any funds whatsoever. All the funds came through TMAC. We were given $400 every year. We used it some years we didn't use it, any of it, and it went back into TMAC. I don't know if anybody's priced a deck of cards. You're looking at $6, $7 for a deck of cards. One game we use 9 decks and one game, 4 tables. It's a lot of cards. We just had an issue with pinochle and euchre cards that came through. They're like astronomical price now. It's crazy. We had to start bunco. We had to take on bunco in order to be able to raise some funds to pay these bills. The number of people that play these games every single week, we have something every night of the week. The number of people that play these games would not have anything to do at night anymore or during the day if table games folded, because we couldn't afford to buy the supplies. Look for a set of dominoes. You're looking at, a lot of money for these things. We have to supply all this stuff. There's Rummy Cube, there's everything. And like I said, we had to take on bunco. We had to start another thing. We had to take on bunco in order to be able to just raise some funds we use the 50-50. And that's what's paying our cards now, because we get no help. And that's one thing. Another thing I'd like to bring up, I noticed that Leanne has left. Bingo. We're averaging, 100 people plus a week during season. We had 143, I think, was last week or the week before. That board over there is antiquated. Did I say that wrong? It's old, and it needs help, and we're going to have to do something about the boards. That's going to run us, Amy, what, $5,000 roughly? Where are we going to get that money? We don't have bingo. We're going to have to be coming to TMAC shortly and ask for help, the bingo committee, because of it. These are just a few things. I mean, you can vote however you want. Even myself, I'm undecided here. But I just think we really need to think about everything.
Thank you, Barb. Yeah, there's a lot of costs going on that we're talking a lot of money. We really are. But in everything else you've done, you make plans to cover your own bills. TMAC has not done that. And that's really all I'm asking here is that we get back to where TMAC can furnish or supply its own bills, cover its own bills. The extra, the next one, Gary. The extra fees that would make an accrual fund. While I think it's a great idea, I think we need it. We used to have it. We don't have it now. But that's a gee whiz extra. And we can talk about the hows and what's later on. But these numbers, Nola, you're talking specifically in yours. For you, to go forward, it may cost you up to $5,000 your first year. After that, you're going to spend $4,000 a year just to have the coverage you do now with TMAC. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, but you got to figure that in. Without TMAC, you've got these bills. And I know these cover insurances. TMAC furnishes the liability insurance. When you go on trips, your bus has insurance. TMAC provides a secondary insurance on top of that. I know personally, a couple of years ago, we had a lady fall on the sidewalk. The lawsuit was still going this year. They sued Hometown America, HOA, TMAC, and Kristen Sapato because she was the chair of something at the time. Somebody falls at your dance, you're going to be named in the lawsuit just because. I'm going to be named because I'm up here. That's one of the insurances we cover that that you have now with TMAC that you'd have to find your own if you didn't. And you're going to be paying the same thing as TMAC's paying. They're not going to cut you any slack because you're only one committee. Because to the insurance, we're one committee. Okay. Anything else up here real quick?
Well, I'm just curious. There's, 24 committees?
Yes, ma'am.
TMAC can't, they need this much a year with the extra. Each committee pays the same amount. Rather than, you're going to have 3 or 4 committees that are pretty much footing the bill.
Yes, ma'am.
So why can't it just be broke down to where all the committees have to pay the same amount?
Okay, we'll just split this bill up, and all committees now owe $2,000. How's that work for table games? How's that work for library? It doesn't. 2% is the same for every committee. 2% is 2%. Okay, I'm going to call this discussion, one more.
Okay, a couple of things a lot of people need to understand is with what TMAC provides us is more than just officers and insurance, because all of us are covered by that. It's also covers for liquor liability. I can tell you right now, you go outside a large group and buy it on an individual policy. I used to sell this stuff. Liquor liability for events is becoming ridiculous. But when you lump it in with a large group and you say we're covering this as part of an association, you get better rate structures. So there's a lot of things up there that look one way, but when you go to pull out, certain categories definitely will get bumped up on percentages. So you got to watch out for those. The other thing is, if you've got 20 people and you're saying charge everybody the same, one group, tables, has 25, maybe 50 people at a night, okay, and special events has 400, okay? There is no equal comparison between the two. There is a lower cost average for table games, sure, but there's no way they'll generate the money to have it equal across. Why not go at they make this much, that's what it is. That's what they've tried to do with 2%. I mean, quite honestly, on computers, we have a small running. We only do $5 for our members, but still at 2% for what it really gives you, your liability coverage for officers, because as Steve just said, you will get named if somebody gets injured at an event you had, whether you are doing quilting, whether you are doing cards, or whether you're doing special events. It doesn't matter what it is. The officer will get named because that's just the way our litigious society is all about. So I think this is a good plan.
Okay, I'm going to call this discussion closed and open it up to public comment. Anybody out there have something they want to say? Just step up to the mic and have at it. Give Fred time. Leave him alone.
Hi, Fred Beeman. Appreciate you guys doing all this work. And I have one fundamental question. What is hometown? Is hometown aware of our problem? And what is their position? Because it seems to me, if we look around the table, virtually everybody that's in Tanglewood is in some way influenced by the activities that are provided here. I know I am, I know you are, by the activities that are here. Are they willing to let this thing die? It would seem to me that there's a tremendous argument that can be made to these people, and I know that it's very easy to pass it off. You go down the office there, well, corporate won't let me, corporate this and corporate that. But the reality of it is that this is what we're talking about here. The activities that we all participate in, TMAC itself, which organizes it and facilitates it happening, is an integral part of Tanglewood. And it would seem to me somehow we ought to be able to implore them. I notice she's not even here today. She used to come to these meetings. Why can't we reach out, each and every one of us, reach out to this mysterious corporate and implore them to be of some assistance to us, and for them to realize the asset is as important as the grass being mowed and the houses being maintained. This activity that each and every one of us participate in, they've got a responsibility to help us stay in existence.
Thank you, Fred.
Hi, Carlene Fletcher, Vice Chair now of Special Events. I have a question actually coming from the Welcome Committee Vice Chair, my sister. And I understand there's 40 activity groups in Tanglewood, of which you guys are 24. Do the other activity groups benefit from the insurance that TMAC has?
No.
So,
just for example,
okay.
Pickleball was with us a couple years ago. They pulled out. They are their own 501c. They got their own insurance. They've got their own bills. But no, they don't benefit from any of this TMAC stuff. Hometown America, yes. Whatever benefits we get for Hometown, Pickleball also has. I'm not sure what other groups we have that are insured, but our insurances and our benefits come for TMAC events.
Okay, my second question is, you're not a numbers guy, but I love the visuals and the numbers because I am a numbers gal. Do you have a visual to show us what, based on last year's numbers, every of the 24 groups' contribution would be to the fund? And the other is just an opinion, you can answer that in a second, is I'd be leaning more toward gathering enough to cover the bills and not this mysterious slush fund or extra that isn't really being displayed to us how that would be distributed.
I do not have a visual for that. It wouldn't be too hard to get it. I don't think we've got all the numbers. But as far as how it will be distributed, this group, they decide. Your elected officials from every committee, they decide what goes out, when it goes out, and how much goes out.
So in the past, somebody made a motion, and then a vote was taken, and it was a simple majority to,
that's
like bingo needs $5,000 for a new thing. What's everybody think? Discuss, vote.
Yeah, I use that as an example. The tech group, a few years ago, we made a presentation, much like this presentation, but it was on a specific thing about the board we wanted to buy and yada, yada, yada. And this group voted to buy that. And everybody has benefited from the video,
Sure.
the good visuals we've had since then.
I guess I just wonder if bingo wanted 5,000, but dog park wanted a little bit of something, and table games wanted a little bit of something, if that gets like a mass presentation. I haven't been here only about a year. I haven't seen it. And then, if somebody makes a motion and then you vote, well, now the money's all gone and the next person doesn't even get to make a motion. And I don't need an answer for that. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility.
And that is exactly how it worked. When they made the motion to give tech group money a few years ago, Had somebody come up had the wood shop lost their blower the next week, and money wouldn't have been there. But I'm saying right now, there is no money there. That wouldn't happen. And we've not gotten a way to put money back there. Gil?
I don't have any money to give away today. I just wanted to say, first of all, that TMAC is just a phenomenal way of handling all these things. But people have said to me, well, why don't we just disband TMAC? Let's not have it. Well, let's think about that a minute. Let's just say we all go our own way, and Robin over here has a dance committee, and then I say, well, you know what, I don't like the way she's running things. I'm going to start my own dance committee. And next thing you know, you have all these people with all these activities. This is so organized. So we have to do whatever we can to keep it, because just think about it a minute. If everybody went their own way, what a disaster that would be. I mean, you would have no control whatsoever. And so I just want to say I'm all for your plan. I think it's a great idea. That's it. Bye.
Thank you. Hey, Luann.
Luann Wykes. A couple things I do know, that all the money that all of you have belongs to TMAC related to the 5017. That's under the federal rules, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When we had it previously, special events were exempt just because of the way she explained it. Also, committees that charged dues were also exempt. Okay? So that meant the dance committee and several other committees paid TMAC money. When I left in 2022, I handed you, your treasurer at that time, $4,200 from the dance committee, and I also handled the dance committee 3 checks for the February, March, and April meetings, dances. And at that time, this group, or some people in this group, let a competitor work against the dance committee. And we saw what happened. They ended up with 0 money. Because one of the dances that particular person decided to do was a free dance, because it wasn't her money. If we gave you $4,200 in 1 year, you needed $5,000. We didn't complain, because we know it's all for the good of the community. We gave $1,100, $1,200 to tech. We gave money to the decorating committee. We all did it and still had $4,200. So it can be done, but I don't think people like the special events and that should be charged, because they have to. If you want the entertainment they're having, they have to have the money, and they need it up front. Okay, you talk about the price of an accountant. When I was on the board, we didn't have an accountant. We have many people in this park that are accountants that you could ask for some of their expertise because they belong to this community. The kitchen has been an issue. I've been here 13 years. The kitchen has been an issue since that time, because of being a nurse and things like that, the place isn't sterile, but it needs a lot of cleaning up related to the countertops and things like that. I think it can be done. What really makes me sad, Mr. Beatty, is it worked until you got this the last time and decided to change the way it worked with the bylaws. It worked. We had money, we gave it away, and we did it appropriately. The next chair wrote a letter to Hometown America telling them how wonderful all the entertainment was here that was competing with your own TMAC dance committee. That's outrageous. And you people really need to look at some of this. It can be done, but you have to take exemptions if you want decent shows here and if you want decent dances here. What they did for the dance committee is they exempted us enough money for the first 3 bands. It can be done. If your treasurer at that time wouldn't have handed the $4,200 over to the dance committee, you'd have had money to pay. And they'd have had enough money for from 3 dances to pay for all of their summer. It can be done, but you have to work with these people and you can't let competition. That's what ruined TMAC. Not because they didn't have any money, because you allowed competition from a person that we're not sure where the money went. Thank you.
Bob, did you have something?
Bob LaRock with the Vice Chair of Diversions and TWR Times. I just wanted to, I appreciate you, first of all, trying to take care of this matter. Would there be any exemptions, for an example, a charity cause, specifically Diversions holds the Bras for Hope, breast cancer fundraiser. Pat, I think, brought in over $4,000, and 2% is only $80. I'd cover that, but it does give a pretty ugly look that you're going to take 2% of charity money. So did you have any of that in mind for exemptions?
My mind doesn't have any exemptions, but final decision is still going to be these people.
Yeah.
This is just an idea. Just my proposal. These are all my ideas.
Okay. I would suggest to the board that you consider some exemptions for charities, such as Bras for Hope and others. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Hi, Steve. Everybody, I'm Bob Homley, and I'm nothing. And that's a good thing to be. As Luann pointed out, by law and by the bylaws, I know specifically it was in the bylaws, all monies belong to TMAC. Is that correct, Steve?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I know that was in the bylaws, and it was put in the bylaws for a reason, to make it perfectly clear to everyone, all monies belong to TMAC. It's also in the bylaws, at least it was, that each committee needed to submit a budget every year. And that budget needed to be approved by you people, the board of directors of an incorporation. It's not a bridge club. It's a corporation. It's a business. When I worked every year, I submitted my budget, and it went through the process, and they came back, and they told me that that was too much, and I had to cut it. And I made adjustments, and I resubmitted it, and in the end, I had my budget, and whatever was in my budget was pre-approved. I didn't have to go back and ask for permission to spend money. It was approved. The same thing here, when the committee submits their budget, and NOLA says that for next year's shows, I need $120,000. That's a lot of money for a small community like this, $120,000. But if in her budget she says she's going to make $140,000, it's a no-brainer for the board to approve those funds. That's the way this should be handled. When she makes $140 and she spent $120, that $20,000 doesn't belong to special events. It belongs to all of you. It belongs to the entire community. There's no need for a 2% assessment on it when you've got the whole thing. And you do what you want to do with it. And when the text crew says that they need $5,000, they come back to the board as they did in the past, and the board of directors says, this is a good investment for us, and we have the money, let's do it. Or they say, gee, this is a good investment for us, but we don't have the money. We can't do it. The decisions are all made by this board. Steve's job is to run the meeting. The board makes the decisions. The money belongs to the board, all of it. When board games needs money to buy playing cards, they put it in their budget. And the board approves it. Then they can do it. It's in the bylaws. At least it was in the bylaws. That's the way a business runs. You submit your budget, you get it approved, you can spend the money. If you need more than what you budgeted, you come back and you plead your case and you hope for the best. You can't spend money you don't have. You know, we've got a situation now, Nola's making contracts for next year. And she needs the money to spend the money. Who's responsible for that? Is NOLA personally responsible for that? You didn't act on it. The board didn't act on it. How can the board be held responsible? If the board didn't act on it, how can TMAC be held responsible? All these things should be coming through the board. That's why you're here. John Greatech had a great idea 20-some years ago. He passed this off on the community because an active community helped him sell houses. John Greatech, by the original bylaws, had full control over this board. Everything the board decided was subject to his review and approval. When Steve was president the last time, that got taken out of the bylaws. Darlene was community manager then. They came to me and said, Bob, why was this taken out of the bylaws? And I said, because Hometown America doesn't contribute anything. And that was the end of it. I think you need to do something, Steve. There's no doubt about it. I appreciate that you're trying hard. I don't think a 2% assessment is going to be the answer for you because you're going to go back to the same situation we had before. At the end of the year, every individual who thinks they're running their own business is going to spend all their money so they don't have to share. And they're going to give it to charities, they're going to give it to other committees, they're going to do all these things when those decisions should be made by you people. If you're going to be a director on the board of directors, you're fiscally responsible. You have what's called fiduciary responsibility. It's a legal term, and it means it's your butt. Please step up and do your job. I think if you do your job and you demand that you take control of your money, your problems are going to go away. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Chris Wills, and I'm also nobody. I would just like to piggyback on what Fred and what this gentleman just said. Steve, I know you know what I'm going to say, but I wanted to say it in front of everybody here. If we have an average of $150,000 in this account, and that money does belong to TMAC, and TMAC is managing this money, to me, it's absurd that we're not making money on this money. There's no reason, and I could do it tomorrow, I can make 3 3/4% on $150,000 and move that money back and forth as I need it and make $5,500. That's just at 3 3/4%. I know we're going to talk about that later, or you're going to discuss that later, but that also needs to be brought up. It's TMAC money. It's all of your money, but why are we not making money on this money? It sits in an account, and it's like burying a jar in the backyard. To me, let's use this money. And if it's just $150,000, and if it's just 3 3/4%, that takes care of your $6,000 that you need to operate TMAC, just alone. I also think the 2% is a good idea, but let's make money. I mean, that doesn't cost any of you anything. It's just managing the money properly. That's my vote.
Hey, thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for your participation. I'm going to table this motion to next month's meeting. Talk to your committees, talk to each other, talk to the community, if any committee wants me to come and talk personally, directly give you this presentation directly to your committee, if you want it tailored to have your committee's numbers in here, we can do that. But we're going to table this to next month.
Steve,
And next month's meetings
Steve,
is...
I have a question about that. I mean, all these committees, a lot of them, I think I was paying attention, but then a lot of them already have their final meeting of the year. I mean, how are they going to go back to their...
You can have a special
Close.
meeting. Just call your people.
Okay. Well, I'm in a situation where we do have a final meeting next
Any
week,
of them
but
can
I'm
call.
just was
Any of them
in
can
behalf of
call their
everyone
people.
else.
And yeah, some people are going to be gone, but you just talk to them. You got emails, you got addresses. So next meeting is April 15th. Jerry,
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
motion been made to adjourn, and seconded. Everybody in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your comments.